Picture this. You just stepped off a long-haul flight. Your eyes are tired. Your back aches. You've been in the air for 14 hours. All you want is to stretch your legs, pass through customs, and get to your hotel. But instead, the moment you step into the airport security line, everything changes. His name was David Carter, a soft-spoken black man in his late 30s, wore simple jeans, a clean button-down, and carried a laptop bag that had seen too many conferences and red-eye flights. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't loud. He wasn't causing trouble. But for the wrong officer on the wrong day, he was the perfect target. David slid his passport across the counter. The officer glanced at it, then at him. "Where'd you get this?" he asked, suspicion dripping from his tone. David blinked. "Excuse me? This passport doesn't look right. Doesn't feel right. Where'd you get it?" David's stomach dropped. He'd traveled dozens of countries. His passport was valid, brand new, government issued. But the officer's eyes narrowed. He flipped the pages back and forth, pressing the corners as if searching for flaws. "Step aside," he barked. Travelers behind David frowned, whispering. A mother pulled her child closer. 2 businessmen smirked, shaking their heads. David stood, heat rising in his chest. He hadn't done a thing wrong. Another officer approached. "What's the problem here?" "This guy's documents are fake," the first one said flatly. "We had a string of forged passports lately. He fits the profile." David exhaled slowly. "Sir, that passport is legitimate. Scan it. You'll see." But instead of scanning, the officer crossed his arms. "Don't tell me how to do my job. Around here, we follow protocol." David was pulled from the line, escorted to a glass booth where other passengers watched like he was a criminal. "Empty your bag." Shoes off. Laptop open. Every command was sharp, impatient. His belongings were dumped onto the table. His phone powered down. His notebooks flipped open and pawed through. "Where are you coming from? Why were you there? Who paid for your ticket?" The questions fired like bullets, loaded not with curiosity, but with accusation. David answered calmly, but his heart pounded. He could feel the humiliation seeping into his skin. The stares. The whispers. The officer smirked every time he said, "Doesn't add up." And then the officer held up his passport, shaking it. "You know what happens if this is fake, right? Big fines. Maybe jail time. You people think you can beat the system, but not here. You people." The words stung like acid. David's jaw clenched. He looked the man in the eye. "Run the scan," he said quietly. But the officer didn't move. Didn't want the truth. Didn't want to lose the power trip. The crowd was thickening. Phones were recording. Some travelers looked sympathetic. Others just entertained. The officer leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, savoring the moment, until David reached into his bag. Slowly, calmly, carefully, he pulled out a slim, black leather case. The officers stiffened, hands near their belts. But when David flipped it open, it wasn't a weapon. It was an official credential card, one that made both men's eyes widen. David's voice was steady as stone. "My name is Dr. David Carter. I'm the lead systems architect for the Global Identity Verification Program. The software you're refusing to use? I designed it." Gasps echoed. One of the businessmen from the line muttered, "Oh, man." The officer stammered. What are you talking about?" David stood taller now. Humiliation burned away. The biometric scanner, the RFID chip reader, the system that verifies over 2 billion passports worldwide. I wrote the protocols. I trained half the staff in this airport. And you, he pointed to a machine they refused to use, are accusing me of fraud while ignoring the very system I built. Silence. All eyes were on him. The recording phones tilted forward. The second officer swallowed hard. "Sir, if that's true." David stepped closer. "Check the system. Now." The officer fumbled, grabbing the scanner. He slid the passport through. Beep. A green light flashed instantly. The monitor displayed. Valid. Authorized. Cleared. The system didn't hesitate. Didn't stall. Didn't question him. It knew who he was, because he had built it. The officer's face went pale. The crowd began to murmur. Someone clapped. Another voice whispered, "That's karma right there." David gathered his belongings calmly, sliding his passport back into his pocket. Then he leaned in just enough for the officer to hear. "You thought I was trying to cheat the system, but the truth is, I am the system." Word spread quickly. By the time David reached baggage claim, half the airport staff seemed to know the story. The security officer who humiliated him? Suspended pending investigation. Airport leadership issued an apology. And the Department of Homeland Security? They sent David a personal letter thanking him for exposing flaws in training protocol. But David didn't smile, didn't gloat, because for him, it wasn't about revenge. It was about dignity, about proving, once again, that prejudice blinds people from seeing brilliance right in front of them. They say technology doesn't lie. It doesn't care about your skin color. It doesn't care about your accent. It only cares about truth. That day, the truth wasn't just in the system. It was in David Carter, a black man who had been humiliated in front of strangers, but who walked out with his head higher than ever. Because no matter how hard prejudice tries to break you, genius will always rewrite the code. And respect? Respect should never be denied at the gate.